Now, online retail is an evolving segment of the retail market in Nigeria that is attracting innovators seeking to capture the consumer opportunity in Africa's largest economy. Now, the people behind online supermarket Supermart.ng put the monthly consumer purchasing power in Lagos at over $6 billion. They join us now in our Lagos studio. So let's welcome Raphael, Afaedor, and Gbolahan Fagbure, the co-founders of Supermart.ng.com. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Let me start with you, Raphael, and let's talk broadly about how big an opportunity this is. Now, you guys are saying that we're looking at $6 billion monthly spend in Lagos alone. Break it down, if you will, for me, in terms of where that money is coming from.
Thank you, Godfred. So if you look at the salaries that are being paid to people in Lagos, and you break it down into the sizes of the various subsectors, you realize that the number we're talking about is some $6 billion spent on a monthly basis in Lagos. And if you analyze that, we're talking about some $72 billion that are actually being spent on groceries in Lagos.
That's a lot of money. Where is it coming from, and how is it spread across the different classes in Lagos?
So what we're talking about is some 2% of the people are in the upper class. We're talking about some 8% of the people in the upper middle class. We're talking managers in telcos, in banks, in advertising agencies, construction, FMCG. And we're talking about the middle class being some 20%, and the lower middle class being about 30% for Lagos alone. The numbers we're talking about are for Lagos alone.
Yeah. So I would imagine, Gbolahan, that you guys saw this opportunity and decided to dive into this market. I was reading somewhere where someone was saying, actually, given the transport chaos in Lagos, really the city shouldn't work, but it does work, and you guys saw an opportunity. So let's talk about the kind of trends that you have seen since you started trading in terms of spend.
I mean, so we are like Raphael said, it's a huge market. And when you think about Lagos alone, which is the commercial capital of Nigeria, this is where most of economic activity happens across Nigeria. So we've seen that people who are in the middle class and in the lower middle class, and even the upper middle class as well, they place a high premium on their time. Most people are working from as early as 7 a.m. till as late as 8, 9 p.m., oftentimes spending hours in traffic, either going to work or coming from work. And they then have to then go back either on weekdays or at the weekend to go do grocery shopping, which is typically done across various supermarkets just to get the entire items you need to complete your basket. Yeah. And we then thought, this is a good opportunity for us to then target these people. How can we ease the stress they experience going through traffic? Yeah. And with the good logistics which we've built over 3 years doing e-commerce in Nigeria, we've been able to get down the logistics problem. So for example, now we can deliver groceries across Lagos in as early as 3 hours, and that is unprecedented in Nigeria.
Absolutely, I'd imagine. So you can't talk to me about the hours, because I know years ago when we tried to get the Nigerian guys to come in around 7 p.m. and keep working, I faced a near revolt. I'm sure Wole Famrewa will attest to that one. But in terms of just that opportunity, how fast has that market been growing?
I think in the last 3 years, you've seen a huge increase in terms of online shopping, whether it's for groceries, for mobile phones, for books, for fashion. And I think that will continue to grow. One, as the internet gets more developed, and I think the Minister of ICT is doing a good job in trying to get the broadband plan to be replicated across the entire country, getting us faster internet and more reliable internet. And you found people who over the last 3-4 years are more comfortable in buying things online. So when you get more professional firms doing what we do in various spheres of influence, it then gives people more trust in the system, more reliable payment systems, more professional service, and most importantly, a good variety of products and high quality products which they can choose from.
Yeah, Raphael, let's get some numbers in here. I just want to understand, because I mean, it depends on who you're talking to and what stats, of course, you're citing. They say in Lagos you're talking about 17, some people say 21 million people. So it's a large number of people here. What percentage is moving on to this online retail space, so we can realize the size of the opportunity available?
Okay, yeah, the numbers are all over the place. I definitely agree with you. So we're working with a conservative estimate of 15 million people to come up with the $6 billion that we're talking about in monthly spend in retail and groceries, for that matter, which is a significant part of the family budget. You're asking about the percentages that are going online.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult to call, to put actual numbers to now. There's a lot of work that has been done over the last 3 years with all the money that has been raised and been invested. People have been sensitized to the fact that they can actually use the internet as a medium of transaction, and people are trusting the internet more and more. With Supermart.ng, for example, we collect all payments online. People are paying online, and so we don't do cash on delivery at all, for example, because people are actually paying for their services online. I think what we can actually see and agree is the fact that the traffic situation is a bit difficult as it is now. There are more and more people moving into the middle class, which also means that more and more people buying vehicles, more and more vehicles on the street mean that the traffic situation is not getting any better anytime soon. It takes a bit more effort, or it's more difficult to actually build hypermarkets close to the communities that people reside in.
Yeah.
And so if people have to make the decision of going to the supermarket, they say, look here, I mean, if I step out of the house, chances are I'll be stuck in traffic for an hour, for 2